Hello, dear Homepedia family. We often operate under the misconception that luxury is defined by control. Hermetically sealed environments where the temperature is static and nature is merely a view behind double glazing. We are here to negate that belief entirely. True luxury in the Mediterranean context is not about separation. It is about permeability. It is the sophisticated calibration of exposure, allowing the breeze to become part of the ventilation system and the sunlight to dictate the mood of the room. By rejecting the sterile box, we discover that a home that breathes is infinitely more valuable than one that merely shelters. The pain of modern living lies in our disconnection from the circadian rhythm. We exist in spaces that agitate our nervous systems through artificiality and stagnation. When architecture boxes us in, we lose the grounding sensation of the earth, leading to a subtle, pervasive anxiety. Our solution with this Spanish farmhouse was to dissolve the boundaries that cause this friction. By eroding the corners of the room and extending the floor plane outward, we allow the inhabitants to live in the gradients between inside and out, effectively healing the separation between the dweller and the landscape. The primary conflict in this region is the relentless sun. If ignored, a home becomes an oven, forcing reliance on loud artificial cooling. To resolve this, we oriented the structure to capture prevailing cross breezes, turning the house itself into a passive cooling engine. This decision, though invisible to the eye, fundamentally alters the tactile experience of the space, ensuring that even at high noon, the interiors remain a sanctuary of cool, stagnant air without the hum of machinery. A common spatial friction occurs at the entryway, where the transition from the expansive outdoors to the indoors feels abrupt and jarring. We agitated this compression by refusing a standard door in favor of an oversized glass pivot system. The solution creates a threshold that feels less like a barrier and more like a valve, regulating the flow of energy. It forces a pause, a moment of acknowledgement that you are entering a curated space that still respects the scale of the exterior world. Lighting stone walls presents a unique atmospheric pivot. Direct overhead lighting flattens the texture, turning majestic masonry into drab wallpaper. We solved this by recessing grazers into the floor, casting light upward to catch every imperfection and shadow of the local stone. This turns the walls into a living canvas at night, highlighting the artisan craftsmanship and resolving the conflict between the need for illumination and the desire for mood. Reclaimed beams often suffer from the problem of appearing merely decorative, lacking the structural gravity of the original farmhouse vernacular. To counter this, we sourced timber that was oversized for the span, creating a visual weight that feels almost oppressive but undeniably grounding. This solves the aesthetic issue of faux rustic by introducing actual structural integrity, making the ceiling feel like a protective canopy rather than a cosmetic application. In the kitchen, the friction is often between social isolation and utility. The cook is separated from the gathering. We agitated this layout, by extending the island into the courtyard, literally piercing the exterior wall. The solution allows the culinary experience to bleed outdoors, where the act of chopping vegetables happens in the same air as the growing herbs, resolving the disconnect between preparation and consumption. Stone flooring can create an acoustic nightmare, turning a living room into an echo chamber that feels cold and institutional. We address this unseen friction by introducing soft, porous materials in the vertical planes, linen drapery, and tapestry to absorb the reverb. This balances the auditory experience, allowing the visual weight of the stone to remain while softening the sonic environment to a whisper. Temperature control usually creates visual clutter through vents and units that disrupt the rustic aesthetic. Our solution was to bury the climate control entirely within the floor slab using hydronic systems. This resolves the conflict between modern comfort and historical integrity, ensuring that the warmth radiates from the terracotta upwards, mimicking the heat of the sun-baked earth outside. Scent is an atmospheric pivot often ignored in architecture, yet it defines the memory of a space. The problem is the smell of stagnation, or cleaning chemicals in a new build. We countered this by planting jasmine and rosemary directly against the intake vents of the passive cooling system. This turns the mechanical necessity of airflow into an olfactory experience, infusing the home with the scent of the landscape. Grout color is the unseen hero that can ruin a floor. Too light, and it highlights the grid. Too dark, and it looks dirty. We struggled to find a tone that would allow the terracotta to read as a monolithic surface. The resolution was a custom mix using dust from the terracotta cutting process, blurring the individual tile edges. This solves the visual fragmentation, making the floor feel like a single continuous sheet of baked earth. Window framing in historic renovations often creates a friction between bulky modern profiles and delicate masonry. We agitated this constraint by burying the frames entirely within the stone rebate. The solution is frameless views where the glass appears to be a mere membrane, resolving the conflict between thermal performance and the desire for unencumbered sight lines. Morning light in the bedroom can be an aggressor, waking the inhabitants too harshly. We pivoted this atmosphere by using deep exterior overhangs that delay direct sunlight until 10 a.m. This architectural shading device resolves the conflict between needing natural light and needing rest, allowing the room to glow with a soft, diffracted luminescence in the early hours. Imported materials often carry a placeless quality that clashes with the rugged Spanish terrain. We solved this aesthetic friction by mandating that 80% of the stone be harvested within a 20-mile radius. This constraint ensured that the home's palette matches the surrounding hills exactly, resolving the tension between the artificial structure and its geological context. Bathroom privacy usually dictates small windows, which leads to dark, damp spaces. We agitated this norm by creating private, walled gardens for each bathroom. This allows for floor-to-ceiling glass in the shower without compromising modesty. The solution brings the sensation of bathing in a rainforest into the home, resolving the conflict between exposure and seclusion. The transition from day to evening often leaves a home feeling cavernous as the exterior views vanish into blackness. We utilized landscape lighting as an architectural anchor, illuminating trees 50 yards out. This pushes the visual boundary of the room past the glass, resolving the feeling of being trapped in a reflection-filled box at night. Water features are often decorative afterthoughts that waste resources. We redefine them as cooling devices, placing a shallow reflection pool in the path of the incoming breeze. As air passes over the water, it cools via evaporation before entering the house. This resolves the problem of thermal gain while adding a kinetic, visual tranquility to the courtyard. Standard furniture scales look ridiculous against double-height farmhouse ceilings, creating a dollhouse effect. We resolved this spatial friction by designing custom, low-slung furniture with exaggerated footprints. By grounding the furniture and widening the stance, we respect the volume of the room, ensuring the pieces hold their own against the massive stone walls. Tactile contrast is essential. A room made entirely of hard surfaces feels like a mausoleum. We introduced the atmospheric pivot of buccal and raw silk upholstery to fight the hardness of the stone. This dialectic between the rough masonry and the soft textiles creates a sensory richness, resolving the potential for the space to feel uninviting. Modern technology, such as TVs and speakers, disrupts the timeless aesthetic we strive for. We agitated this friction by concealing all technology behind retractable timber panels or within joinery. The solution preserves the wabi-sabi atmosphere, allowing the inhabitants to disconnect, yet keeps the utility available when needed. The color palette in such homes often veers too trendy, dating the architecture prematurely. We resolved this by sampling the colors directly from the excavation site soil, dry grass, and olive bark. This strict adherence to the site's DNA ensures the home never goes out of style because it is camouflaged within the landscape itself. The roof overhang is more than protection. It is a framing device. Without it, The sky can feel overwhelming and bright. We extended the eaves to crop the view, forcing the eye toward the horizon rather than the sun. This resolves the glare issue and creates a cinematic aspect ratio for the view from the living room. Guest flow in open-plan homes can feel chaotic, with no separation between private and public zones. We utilize change in floor level, a two-step drop, to subtly demarcate the lounge from the circulation paths. This spatial friction signals a change in behavior without erecting walls, resolving the need for intimacy within a vast space. We define quiet luxury not by the price of the fixtures, but by the silence of the systems. The friction of hearing a toilet flush or a door slam destroys the illusion of peace. We solved this with solid core doors and insulated plumbing drops. The resolution is a home that absorbs sound, reinforcing the feeling of solitude and solidity. Finally, the age of the olive trees on the site posed a conflict with a construction footprint. Rather than cutting them down, we notched the terrace around the trunks. This decision to yield to nature rather than dominate is the ultimate unseen hero, grounding the new construction in centuries of history and resolving the ego of the architecture. Ultimately, this farmhouse stands as a testament to the power of subtraction. We did not add luxury. We removed the barriers to it. By stripping away the unnecessary layers of modern construction, the drywall, the baseboards, the synthetic finishes, we revealed the inherent nobility of the raw materials. The design decisions were not about decoration, but about resolving the friction between the human need for shelter and the human need for nature. The result is a home that does not just sit on the land, but engages in a constant, silent dialogue with it. The true measure of this architecture is not found in the photogenic moments, but in the unseen physiological drop in blood pressure when one crosses the threshold. It is the coolness of the floor underfoot, the muted acoustic resonance, and the seamless drift of air. We have proven that by embracing the imperfections of stone and wood, and by solving spatial conflicts with openness rather than enclosure, we can create a living experience that is profoundly restorative.